Welcome to Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, and relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. And on today's video, I want to ask you the question is, can you handle the truth? And as we're looking at this, you're going to have this kind of question burned into your brain of why they really left you in the first place. Can you handle it? And as we go through this, I always like to open up and end with the question. And what I want you to get into the process of thinking is when you are getting into these relationships, do you even understand the hidden truths behind the breakup? There is a reason why the person that you was with left you or things ended, whether it was on a good note or a bad note. But have you been able to take that from what happened and what they told you and what you learned and figured out to build on that, resolve that problem, remediate it so it doesn't carry over into the next portion of your relationship? And when you're looking at that, many people, and I like to focus on the majority because many times we want to place blame on somebody else. But hopefully, you were able to get some feedback so that you can pour into your next relationship down the line, whenever that may be. Whether if it's 3 months later, sometimes some of you are getting together really, really quick. But have you resolved the problems that you had? Have you sought out professional help to address those needs if it got to that point? But the truth most definitely is going to hurt. But most importantly, the truth is going to heal you in so many different ways. Think about this for a second. Why do people lie about why they ended things? Let that really sink in, because instead of people most of the time telling the truth, will they lie or come up with a lie to avoid telling you the truth? Because when you are lying to somebody, you're not doing them any justice. You're basically creating a problem that's going to show up on the next person's front steps. And what are you going to do about that? Because some of the common phrases and common reasons that you're going to look into is when you have people who have like common phrases out there. They will say just the most random thing that you've heard so many of people around you say before, instead of people actually using real reasons. So let me just throw a couple of them out here to you so that way it will most definitely make sense. When looking at a list of different ones of honest breakup reasons, people will say things like lack of emotional safety. So, what in the world is lack of emotional safety? When you're looking at yourself in these relationships, do you lack the empathy? Do you lack the emotions that the other person needs? Have they actually told you that so that you can fix it? A lot of times people expect you to perform Jedi mind tricks and reading the person's mind or looking at their facial expressions, but that's not always the case. They used to have a saying that when closed mouths don't get fed. I used to hear that so much every single time. Then you have to look at as well poor communication. Some people have a hard time talking to the person they're with, but they can talk to their friends at work. They can talk to their best friend about anything. But it's so hard for them to talk to the person that they're in a relationship with. And a lot of times, this next one is a very, very big one. Insecurity. Insecurity. A lot of insecurity comes because a person may have cheated on the person that they are with, and they're so afraid that person is going to pay them back and move on and cheat with somebody else. Like an example, you can have a man who know he cheated on the woman that he's with, and now he's all overprotective and has control issues because he is afraid that somebody is going to come and do the same thing to him in which he did to the other person. But keep this in mind, the person that you're cheating with, if you end up leaving the person that you was with to go with the person that you were cheating with, wouldn't it make you feel uncomfortable, ladies and gentlemen, knowing that y'all got into this situation by cheating? And now you have to worry about, now will this person cheat on me like I did before? See, many of you haven't thought about it from that perspective. See, it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. Then you can look at financial irresponsibility. You know, you can make a whole lot of money and mess things up. You cannot make a lot of money or the lack of money, and things can still turn out bad. And what do you get from that? You get a lot of debt. A lot of debt. You get a lot of debt here. Now, as I said about the financial irresponsibility, is we focus our money on things that are not going to move us forward as a family. We see so many times where we, well, either make a higher salary, win a lottery, get into a lot of money, and we begin to buy cars, jewelry, clothes, a more expensive home, but we don't think about how to act financially responsible. We are irresponsible in the way that we view finances. Many are scared to talk to the person that they are with to get them back on track. See, what's wrong with you two helping one another, if it's meant to be, to move to becoming much more financially sound? You may not become the multimillionaire that you want, but the fact that you all are able to create something in your home that you can pass down to your children in a sense of knowledge so they can do it better than what you're doing right now. What you're doing right now may not be the best, but we all have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere where it's going to be not only comfortable, but it's going to teach us responsibility. And that is what we need. And in the midst of that, you have to also pull in the ability to do the growth functionality and the mentality, because the lack of growth can slow you down. Because how can you become any of those other things that I named without taking some form of responsibility and also being able to increase the amount that you grow? Because I really want you all to be able to do better. But sometimes how hearing the truth can help you grow is you may not need anybody's financial backing. You just need to know that somebody out there has went through what you are going through, and you decide that you want to experience it as well. So you're going to hear and receive the information, because accountability is going to come with healing. And when you are pulling this into yourself, you also have to understand that how most people stay stuck in the loop that they're in is because they refuse to accept it, because they're so used of staying in the rat race, the trap. They're so used to staying in the matrix that anything that is different than what they are used to doing, they are scared to do it. They won't do it until they look around and see that everybody around you is moving but you. And what are you going to do about it? You're either going to do absolutely nothing about it, or you're going to sit down and step up and take control of the situation. And you're going to take the truth and you're going to use it. You're going to build with one another and you're going to move forward. Now, if you don't take anything else from this episode, you always know I like to give you a question in the beginning, and I like to tap in with a question at the end. But I want you to ask yourself, would you rather be comforted with a lie or cut with the truth? Definitely tap into the comments below, like, listen, subscribe to the channel. Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, and relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. And as always, you all have a good one.